Hey everyone, peace and blessings. Oh, happy Saturday. I just want to talk to you guys for a quick moment. I'm just leaving a revival service at my mom's church, and the guest pastor from Alabama, fire. But anyway, I wanted to get on and just share just the goodness of God. You know, this is something that I've had shame with, honestly, for some time now. But, you know, God is just putting on my heart, it's time. It's time. It's time not to hide behind shame or to hide behind, oh, I got to turn around. Or not to hide behind fear, because other people need to hear just how God can restore and redeem. So a little bit about my past. When I graduated high school, I went straight into the military. I was in what they call a delayed entry program, where you sign up like in your junior year and then you make a commitment to be in the service. And I was in ROTC for 3 years in high school, and so I went into the Army as a PFC because I was in ROTC for those 3 years. So I was stationed down in Fort Bragg. Well, actually, let me back up. I was in the reserves, and then I transitioned to active duty. And I did my basic training at Fort Jackson, and all of those things. And I was young in the military. I graduated high school. I was in the military for 5 years total. So I went on 2 deployments. My last deployment that I went on, both deployments were in Iraq, but I was in 2 places. My first deployment was in Taji, Iraq. My second one was in Baghdad, right? So long story short, you know, my second deployment, I had some choice words for a non-commissioned, what they call a non-commissioned senior officer. And that incident with him, because I had some choice words that I said to him, that led to me eventually being pushed to be, first I got what they call a field grade Article 15, and then I got it pushed for me to be chaptered out of the military, right? So what ended up happening was they didn't give me the opportunity. So the timing of it was, excuse me, my mom's following me, so I'm trying to make sure she's following me right. So what ended up happening was I was close to my re-enlistment time. Like I had did 4 years, or no, 5 years, and I was getting close to my re-enlistment date. So instead of re-enlisting, they said you can't re-enlist and you pretty much have to get out. You know, my discharge was a general under honorable conditions, which is by the grace of God that I didn't get like dishonorable discharge or like anything court-martial, anything of that nature. And during this time, I was not saved. Like I didn't get saved until I was in my early 30s. So I'm not saved. And I'm just, as I look back, I see the hand of God throughout my life, period. So I get chaptered out of the military under honorable discharge. The reason code was patterns of misconduct, right? So when you get out of the military with anything that's outside of an honorable, it's almost like having a felony on your record, and it follows you, right? It follows you in your employment. And so I'm sharing all that to say is that every door that I've walked through, God has opened it. Even when I wasn't saved, God in his grace, his word says that he reigns on the just and the unjust. And even in those moments, I wasn't even living, like, I didn't want to know God. I was not living for God. I was totally in the God was still gracious toward me, right? So as I was saying, like, that kind of discharge follows you like a felony. So every single door that I've ever walked through in my adult life is because of God, literally. Like when I worked in a private sector, before I worked, like I used to work for Bowen Defense. Before I worked there, I was in an in-between period where I was working like temp agency jobs. Like before that, I was working in like customer service and retail, and God opened that door. Like I can pinpoint every single moment God's hand was on my life, and his favor and his goodness and mercy was on my life, even when I was living knee deep in sin and living for the world, right? And so God just was good, and he didn't have to be, but he was good. Like every good thing comes from God. Every good thing comes from God. So before, like, I had the job at the Bowen Defense with the private sector, I was working temp jobs, because one thing about me, I always like had a work ethic about myself where I wasn't going to settle, you know. So I was completely humble during that time, because I was just working any kind of job. I was working like on construction sites. I was doing flag, like what do they call it, a flagging person. Like I was doing all types of just whatever, right, just to be actively doing something. So I was completely humble during that season, and that's when a door opened. God opened a door for me to work in the private sector. Every door, and then from there he opened so many other doors. It's all because of God, because here I have this discharge that followed me, and every person that hired me had to see my paperwork. They saw my paperwork. They saw the patterns of misconduct. They saw that I was put out of the military, all of that, and they still brought me in. Even to where I'm at today, where I'm working today. God will turn things full circle in your life, full circle. Like it's amazing that even in the position and job that I'm in now is because, and I'm working with you know, prior military, you know, I'm brushing shoulders with you know, things of that nature. It's all because of God. And for a long time, like, the enemy had me in shame. Like even where I work now, he's had me in shame, because I work with people who have done great things and who have all these accolades, and then he would make me feel like, well, you got put out of the military. You don't even deserve to be here among these people. You know, you didn't da 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 da. Even though I served my country, even though I deployed and all those things, you know, the devil was I was allowed the devil to make me feel unworthy to be where I am today, which is all a lie from the pit of hell. So I just wanted to share that God, he is a way maker. He can turn our situations around. And Lord willing, I'm going to just be more transparent with a lot of different things God has brought me out of, you know, because it's his glory at the end of the day. I'm where I am today because of him. Like, and God is pressing on my heart. Like, people need to know you are here because I put you there. I specifically put you there. It was no credentials. It was nothing you did, nothing that we could ever do. It's all him. It's all him. So y'all be blessed. I'm about to go in here and eat with my mom. Talk to you later.